I can't quite put into words the impact that Spirit Day has on all of us here at Memorial. It slowly grew from a few students that wanted to give back to some of our feeder middle and elementary schools or to other places in our community. And it has slowly grown into this empowering movement where pretty close to 300 students gather together in their Spartan gear and head back out into the community to give back to these places, these people, and parts of this community that have kind of helped us all grow to where we are today.
Carol Klepp, and I've been the advisor for Spartan Youth Service Joy Team since 1994 when the team was founded. Spirit Day was started by a young man by the name of Mika Hurstan. Mika felt very strongly that the school should also be devoted to service, and that wouldn't it be a great time or a great thing to have the entire student population go out in the community one day to do service. After about 4 years, the teacher who was kind of the liaison asked if Spartan Youth Service would take over Spirit Day and do all the coordination, at which point we said we'd be happy to. And so from that point on, it's been an annual wonderful activity of Spartan Youth Service Joy Team at Memorial High School. At that point, the student leaders decided that we would just focus on doing service in our local elementary and middle schools. And we've been doing that for about the past 5 years.
Over the years, we've noted that there are just very few ways in which we really authentically reconnect with schools in our feeder pattern. So despite a handful of elementary schools sending students to a handful of middle schools and all of those kids then end up here as Memorial Spartans, there just haven't been that many opportunities for us to reconnect with those schools. Just wanting them to sort of develop that connection to us, but also wanting them to be able to envision their future and to connect with high school students when they can. When we send high school students back into those feeder schools, that imprints the minds of those younger students, and they will forever remember the day that the high schoolers came. And as they then eventually enter Memorial High School, they're going to be looking back for that Spirit Day opportunity so that they can be that same student to go back and have that impact for younger students for years and years to come.
My name is Catherine Pearson, and I've been teaching here in Toki for 5 years. We were doing actually the writing process, and we were doing editing. It helps so much having another pair of adult eyes, ears, brain cells, whatever to help me out. It went by a lot faster and the kids were much more engaged.
My name is Mayra Rivera. I am a 4th grade teacher here at Glenn Stevens Elementary. I teach the bilingual in the bilingual program. The student that visited us, Yancy, was bilingual, which was really important to us because then the students can relate to him, since bilingualism is a part of his life and part of their life. Sometimes they don't see the benefit of being bilingual. It just helps them see themselves in another person, especially somebody that they can relate to.
Also, for the little kids, it's a wonderful opportunity for them to see high school students in a very positive light. This is something that they don't see frequently because obviously they don't interact with the high school students, and what they see are high school students who are friendly, caring, and wanting to help. And that can be a very big difference in what they sometimes see on the news. And so I really feel very strongly that while Spirit Day is obviously very beneficial for our high school students, it perhaps is far more beneficial for the younger students that we interact with at the elementary and middle school level.
They really had a good time with it. Once they got warmed up, they're like, can they come back again? I'm like, no, they have to go. Aw, man.
They wanted him to play with them out in the recess and have lunch with them. They wanted to follow him everywhere. They wanted him to follow.
I would love to see Spirit Day continue to grow. I think most know that it started with a pretty small, committed group from within Spartan Youth Service. And it has continued to grow in most cases beyond the boundaries of the Spartan Youth Service organization. I think if it continues to grow to that extent, it may reach a point where we would consider this being a school-wide community service day. It's a bit of a jump, and obviously it's not a small consideration to set aside teaching and learning for a day. But if this continues to gather momentum in the way that it has over the last couple of years, there could be a tipping point where we decide to make this a school community-wide day of service where we all give back to our surrounding community.
I've had teachers ask me if we could do this more than once a year. And when I say that to the organizers of Spirit Day, because I don't organize it, we always have student co-leaders from Spartan Youth Service do the leading, they kind of grimace and they think of the huge task that it is, because it is a large task to coordinate that many students. So while I'd love to see it happen twice a year in the first semester and in the second semester, I don't think that'll happen, but I would love to see it be an all-school where all the students at Memorial High School have the opportunity to experience volunteering in a very positive way.
The Spirit Day process probably started in July when we met with our advisors and figured out the dates and created a rough timeline of when we needed to accomplish things.
Our first meeting was in May with the previous Spirit Day organizers, because every year the people who organize Spirit Day train the incoming co-vice presidents.
For me, the most pressing part of planning Spirit Day was how much adults trusted us, and we were just sending out emails, and all these principals and teachers were actually like doing what we asked of them and trusting us to plan and pretty much organize this whole day.
I guess I was just surprised that we were able to pull it off, because there's so many people. There's over 250 people, and we organized that whole thing and everything actually worked out.
For me, the hardest part of Spirit Day was trying to keep everyone happy, because different students wanted to go to different schools and stay with their friends, and teachers also had all different kinds of requests for, like, if they want a bilingual student in their classroom or if they want an old student, and I just wanted to make sure everyone got what they wanted, and it was sometimes hard to balance all the conflicts. My favorite part of planning Spirit Day was my group members, because it was just a really great experience to be in a group where instead of worrying about people not pulling their own weight, you have people like volunteering, like, I'll do this, I'll do that, and it's almost kind of like we're fighting to have a task to do. And it just made the whole process really efficient and really fun to do and to carry out this giant project.
The experience was stressful, but it was never overwhelming, because we were always on top of what we needed to do, so we never really fell behind schedule or felt like we couldn't finish everything.
It was really great to work in a team, so like when one person couldn't do something, someone else would just pick it up and do it, and then that way we got everything done, and it was great.
It just felt really good at the end of the day to realize that we all planned this amazing event.
The end of the day was the most satisfying part. When everyone left the field house and then we were just alone.
And before she ends, I just want all of you guys to give a huge round of applause. They did all the work. Clean it up. Come back to Spirit Day next year. And don't leave until 3:40. Thank you, everyone.
I would like to expand the number of spots we have at schools and even reach out to different elementary schools that don't feed into Memorial, because I think high schoolers, no matter which school they come from, they're still role models, and anyone should be able to volunteer and make a difference.
Once we got permission slips out, people kept signing up, and more people just filled up the spots, and we had too many people to handle, and hopefully next year we can accommodate for those volunteers who didn't get to come this year.
I think our job in upcoming years will be just to convince schools that they can take on more volunteers and show them the benefits of having a large presence of high schoolers at their school for a day.
Push with your legs, Scotty.
I think for high school students that helps them to begin to appreciate more first of all, their formative education years. Also, for many of them, it provides them with an opportunity to help with their skills. So if you're in a classroom and you're tutoring little kids, that requires a different skill than if you're tutoring or just in school at Memorial High School.
We take a lot of pride in the kind of people that we have crossing the Cole Center stage during graduation. We want our graduates to not necessarily just be intelligent and critical thinkers, but we also want them to be of high character. We want them to believe in themselves. We want them to believe in the impact that a community can have when all of its members and citizens are engaged. And we want them to have a sense of that community and a willingness to give back. I think it's very clear that Spirit Day really helps instill that belief and an understanding of the value of that kind of work in our students. And we couldn't be more lucky to have that as one of our strongest annual traditions. The more that we're inspired by seeing people give back and knowing that Spirit Day helps create that same vision within our students, I think is really powerful, and it helps get us even closer to making sure that every graduate leaves with that true sense of the strength of community and the value of giving back and supporting it in any way that you can.
I think volunteering makes a huge difference in the life of a person. I think it helps them to become more connected to their community. It helps them to feel better about not only themselves, but about the work they're doing in their community. And in many instances, it exposes students to things that they may not have seen or thought or heard about before. So I feel very strongly about volunteerism. I think that it's something that we have to teach our children. We can't just expect that they will just do it of their own accord, although we do know, and research shows this, even here in Dane County, that when students take the Dane County Youth Survey, at least 98% say they would love to volunteer and it's something they would love to do. And at least 98% also say they have a hard time finding volunteer opportunities. And that's where Spartan Youth Service comes in. We want to provide those opportunities for students to do that which they really want to do, and that's to give back and help out in their community.
One, two.